Okay, mic check. Is this working now?
Hello.
No, it's not.
Oh,
Okay.
I see it now.
Okay, it is working. Whew. Um, Sorry about that, everyone. We had a little bit of a, shall we call it, technical difficulties. Mostly Spaz thought he hit a button and he did not hit a button to start the stream. So, welcome to Lesson Learned, a conversation about Mythcraft. I am Corey Griffin,
And I am Kobe Randolph.
and today we are going to be covering the last of our base lineages, the bestest of boys, the amazing canine humanoid Hondu. Do we have
Uh,
any experience with Hondu playing Hondu?
Indeed, I do. In the Cloven Lands campaign I'm in, I am playing the goodest boy, Clark Goodboy. Yeah, and I love him to absolute death.
Right. So, what is the kind of description that you go with for Clark?
Yeah, Clark is a the best way I described him was kind of like a standing mix of Scrappy Doo and Scooby Doo, because he's not as cool as Scooby Doo, and he's not as gremlinly as Scrappy Doo, so he's right in that middle range there. But yeah, he's he's that. He's in full armor and a big old hammer with him, and he's I love him. He's a cleric of being good, the goodest of good.
Yeah, we'll get into that. But no, so we also, obviously, we're partnered with Tales of Yvard. That being said, we do also have a Hondu there, known as Dogan Laflight, played by the wonderful Adam, who is also Goron in chat if he ever decides to pop in. Now,
We gonna get right into traits with this one.
well, yes, we'll get right into traits. I think that's enough of a preamble. So, the height of a Hondu is anywhere from 4'6" to like 6'4". Honestly, I think if you're MC super six at 6'4", okay, whatever. But then I think of my English Mastiff dog that I had as a child, who when he stood on his hind legs was 6'5", right? Like he was massive dogs. So like, I get it.
Yeah, no, it doesn't make sense. We go from our weight, which is 80, to 230, which I like. I mean, it makes sense. I think it covers a good range. Like you said, there's the few breeds where it's like, I could be a Chihuahua who's like 70 pounds soaking wet, or I could be the Great Dane, the Mastiff that I'm a big 300. But yeah,
Yeah. So your size, as we were kind of talking a little bit, you're small or medium, your choice.
I do love because you do just pick, big dog, small dog.
Yeah.
Our base speed is 20. The base every kind of no lineage doesn't have that so far that I've seen.
Yeah, I don't think so. Um,
um,
so the appearance of a Hondu, right? Hondu are mostly like a bipedal. They have a fluffy tail and like a canine shaped head. Uh, they are visually varied, as we've kind of announced, having many different combination of coloration in their fur and in their eyes. Hondus have snouts, tails, ears, and fur of all variety and length and appearance.
Build your dog, boy. Their lifespan is they reach maturity around 18, but tend to live to be about 130 years old. Which this surprised me a little bit at first reading, just because I was expecting them to do dog have shorter lives, but I Love that I don't have to worry about having a super short dog life, and I get to live to be 130 as my boy. Um, but yeah, that's I mean, I think that's a little surprising, is all.
I mean, I love it. You get to live longer than a male or cow,
Hmm.
but I mean,
There's
yeah,
those dogs that just don't die. They all got one of them in our family. I feel like it's just like, how are you still kicking, bro?
right, right. So we'll move into starting features a little bit here. So the first one that we're going to come to is going to be keen nose. And what that allows you to do is whenever you make an awareness check that rely on your sense of smell, you gain a +4 bonus to the check. Just a solid, if I can use my nose, +4, beautiful. Love it.
I asked to sniff everything.
Yes, you did.
uh, Bringing us to our next one, though, we have Canine Endurance, which is gain 6 skill points that you can spend on any skill with athleticism or stamina tags. Uh, you cannot spend more than 4 points in a single skill this way.
I mean,
I mean, great tags,
skill
great tags.
points, great tags. Not like top tier tags, but not niche in any way.
No.
On top of that, this is not a lineage that has sublineages, so we do get a unique feature. We get to choose one option from the all Hondu feature table at level 1 as well.
Our first one being Hondu Bite. Gain a special attack that costs 2 AP and deals 1d4 sharp damage on hit. This is considered a natural weapon, and you can use your choice of strength or dex for the attack and damage rolls.
I mean, it's better than it is at this point. It is equal to a knife,
Yep.
or a dagger, or a dirk. Right, dirk and dagger would be strength and dexterity for the attack and damage rolls. So I'll probably stick with that. But yeah, no, it's just strong.
Mm-hmm.
Up next, we have Hondu Bite 2, Powerful Jaws. Has the prerequisite of Hondu Bite, and it is a repeatable talent. And it just states that each time you take this feature, you increase your bite damage die by one size, starting from a D4 to a D6, up to a maximum of a D12. And we'll get into it.
Next one being Bravery. Whenever a creature tries to frighten you, they must roll 2d20 and use the lower one. I love this. I've talked about it when we talked about the halfling. I think these are really helpful when they come up because like those conditions when you deal with them suck. I mean, though, I hate being frightened. Ugh, no one wants to be frightened. Like it's not a good condition to deal with, especially if you're a melee character. Yeah. So I think bravery's great.
Yeah.
I use it when I
Bravery
can.
2. Yeah. Bravery 2 just says you cannot be frightened by creatures. Effects that don't originate from a creature can still frighten you. Strong.
Yep. And then bravery 3, which is just a prerequisite of bravery 2, you cannot be frightened by any source. The
I
exact
mean,
opposite of Courage the Cowardly Dog.
right, right. Um, I mean, this is effectively possible by level 10. You're no longer frightened by anyone, by anything.
I
Because you
fear
could take,
nothing.
yeah, yeah, that's strong. Next one that we're going to come to is Canine Cunning. You may spend 1 AP to grant TA to both yourself and one ally against an enemy that you are both adjacent to when you use this feature. This bonus lasts until the start of your next turn. There's a play here, right? We'll get into it.
Love this one. Next one we have the Canine Endurance 2, which is a repeatable. You also have to have the Canine Endurance for the base one. You gain 6 skill points that you can spend on any skill with the athleticism or stamina tag. You cannot spend more than 4 points on a single skill in this way. More skill points and some pretty decent tags. I mean, it's fun. I like having skills. We know this.
Yep, no, skills are great. Next one we have is Hunting Dog. It is a repeatable talent, and you gain +6 skill points that you can spend on any skills with the survival tag. You cannot spend more than +4 points on a single skill in this way. Survival, if it's important to your campaign.
Mm-hmm.
If it's not, maybe you don't take this if you don't have a bunch of survival based checks. But the survival tag does have some extremely useful skills in it, right? Eventually, we'll probably get into a skills video because we talk about it and how useful it is all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, with the survival tag, you're looking at things like foraging, nature, sneaking is a survival tag,
That is very
tracking,
good.
animal handling, sheltering. It's very unlikely you're not going to want a bonus somewhere in this, right? It's just strong.
It really is. There's a lot of fun things in that one. Um, Going into our next one though, we have keen hearing. You When you make awareness check that rely on your sense of hearing, gain an additional +4 bonus to your check. I, this is really good. I mean, I love to be a Snoopy motherfucker. So
Yeah. So the next one that we come to is Keen Nose 2, and that is just increase your Keen Known bonus by an additional +4. So instead of the 4 that we already had, it would be +8.
I
Really smelling that sandwich.
so good. That's so good.
Mm-hmm.
I just That's a huge. If you took it at level 1, that's a +8 at
Mm-hmm.
level 1 to awareness with your nose. That is so just mwah.
Yeah, it is
Our next
really
one though, we have another one which I adore. Pack coordination for your awareness times a recoup. Once on your turn, you can move up to 10 feet without spending AP. When moving in this way, you must stay within 5 feet of hostile creatures at all times.
strong, right? Period.
It
Next
helps
thing.
set. Oh,
No, go ahead.
I would say it's just perfect way to set up for flanking.
Yeah. So next thing that we come to is Thick Coat, which is just regain or gain resist cold 3. Also, when making an endurance check to mitigate the effects of extreme cold, roll 2d20 and use whichever one is higher. It's just strong. I mean, resist cold. Cold is not the most common damage type. The physicals definitely are more common, but when there is cold damage, having resist cold is just going to be strong, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's just strong.
Stacking resist anything is awesome. I love being a tanky fucker.
Right. And like cold normally targets your endurance. Most cold spells will target like your fortitude instead of your AR. So
Mm-hmm.
having that +3 because you're resisting cold really will make a difference.
Yeah.
Um so as I look at this track, right, we kind of blew through this one real quick. Um so first off, I would like you to talk about your character.
My boy Clark.
Yep. Almost used the
Yeah.
wrong name.
Yeah, Clark Good Boy at level 1. He took the canine cunning. He is a cleric of some of the vote and content. He went down the like animal spirit one for his class. So he's all about being a cleric and fighting with his friends and stuff. And fighting with animals behind him. So it's just like canine cunning just felt right to give TA to those around him. He is took the uh viewed that for beginning athletics one to take applied force was his +4, which he uses for some very not so good things. His cleric is his whole thing is use the vileness your enemies will use before they can use it on you. So he is a great guy for sure, to say the least. But yeah, big quotations on that. Um, but as we go down this like what track I'm looking at, I probably see him taking a bit of pack coordination, just getting into the flanking positions as well, and then going into keen nose too and keen hearing, because I will sniff out and hear evil, and I will make it perish. Simple as that.
Yeah, which is a lot of fun. Definitely, if you guys are watching and you're like, oh, I want to play a kind of evilish character, make sure it's okay with your MC and your group first, right?
Yes.
Because a lot of clerks, things could be considered evil,
Oh yeah.
um, but our group was okay with it.
Definitely run it by your table. Very important to make sure. It was had even after the first session, be like, all right, how will the tone there to figure out how to pace it? Because you definitely want to make sure no one's uncomfortable with doing stuff like that.
Right. You are coming across kind of
I kind of still
shaky.
couldn't get
Yeah,
close enough.
it just got really bad.
Okay. Let me,
I don't know if you want to disconnect and then reconnect. Maybe that'll
yes,
help us again.
let me try to do that real quick.
Sorry about that, wonderful listeners. Gonna bring Kobe back eventually. Um, all right. Well, I can hear you. Can you talk again for me? Um, we'll see. Yeah, because for some reason you're not showing up. Uh, yeah. I am sorry about this, y'all. We'll see when he comes back. Um, so the next one I'm going to talk about. Sorry about the technical difficulties. It's not always that this happens. It's just that it's happening today. Um, the next thing that I'm going to bring up is like there are a couple really good supportive granting your friends TA kind of builds. There we go. I think you're back now.
Sweet.
Yeah, you're back now. You're popping up.
Awesome. Cool. Sorry
There's
about that.
there yeah. So I am looking at a couple of these talents and going, you know what I want as a rogue, as like a melee rogue? To be
Mm.
able to flank as much as I want. To reposition myself for 0 AP awareness times per rest so that I can get that flanking position and then stab. Right. So definitely like a canine cunning and what was the other one? I had to close it because of our technical difficulties. Pack coordination.
Yep.
Grabbing. I would probably first take canine cunning and then pack coordination. Uh, just because, hey, everyone gets TA. It doesn't matter the positioning. And then having, hey, me and one other person also have TA. Um,
We do love to stack some TA. That is, as we've done until we've more numbers up there, the better. So
it's hard to miss when you're rolling with plus 12.
we still manage. We still manage to do it, but
I said hard, not impossible.
Dude, them dice be telling some real frustrating stories on our end sometimes.
Very true. Um, but yeah, so like pack coordination into um canine cunning, then probably just a bunch of like increasing my skills. Especially if I'm making like a rogue and like a hide in the shadows and assassinate kind of rogue.
Mm-hmm.
Grabbing hunting dog repeatedly to just get my stealth up to 20, get that maxed out and not care.
Be so
Right.
nice.
And I would be a dexterity based character. So like I honestly think by level 10 I'm gonna have a maxed out stealth. Easily.
Yeah, especially with taking BOP into like account as well.
And the fact that rogue we'll get into it also gives you some skill points and stuff.
Yep, that I forgot about that part too.
So like you could hide into the shadows if you wanted to with a Hondu. I
And I'm
mean,
gone.
right? It's just like, and it would almost be more wolf-like, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
hunt them, pounce, run them until they're tired, swapping in and out with your allies. Like,
So much fun. I
yeah,
love a good boy, man. I love the Hondu. I think like when they first were releasing Mythcraft, they dropped the first art of the Hondu that they have. I was just like, give it to me.
that Hondu art is amazing. I am always in love with it, you know. But yeah, so we talked. Another fun one to do is just that bravery all the way down to bravery 3 and just I fear no man, and then a lot of like bullying tactics, high
Mm-hmm.
strength, probably take Hondu bite. Well, no, I think I don't think I would run bravery 3 first. So I'd go Hondu bite, improved bite, improved bite, improved bite, bravery 1, 2, 3.
Nice. Yep.
Because then for 2 AP, I'm biting for D10.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be a high strength character, and I'm never frightened. You cannot make me not come at you.
Yeah. I see the Hondu bite in powerful jaws, and my thought is I want to go pugilist, and I'm gonna grappling and suplex you, and then bite the shit out of you when they're down the floor, like the dirtiest fighter. I probably would try to get the caps, the metal caps you can get from voting to give me that extra like little boost to it, and just oh, you want to hit me? I'm gonna counter punch, grapple you, suplex you, and then bite you as many times as possible, and then continue to do that over and over again. Just can't escape from it, and I'm gonna bite your ass. I also think there's a good build for when we go down like thick coat is a you go down like the caster. I think a frost caster with a thick coat is just a big funny idea. You like a big shaggy like carpet dog blasting out ice spells and like all the frozen stuff on you. For that, I would do like the thick coat, and then you would go into some canine endurance and the keen nose, just so you can always find your enemy, sniffing them out, and then when you need to get to them, you're able to dive it I cannot hear you. No.
Mic check 1 2. Mic check
Yeah.
1 2. Okay, there we go. Awesome, awesome. Um, yeah, sorry about that, Kobe. I was having computer problems, and well, I was having performance problems, and had to throw us into BRB for a minute to fix them.
You're
Um,
good.
so you had talked about warm coat as a caster. Um, Gaining resist cold, which is awesome. That actually leads to like some AoE on self and hoping you roll low enough to
Yeah,
overcome their stuff, but your resist still like hold it back.
that is a gamble I would love to take and probably always fail.
Knowing your luck, yes. Um,
uh,
so as we've talked about a little bit, we do have our show Tales of Yvard. And on our show Tales of Yvard, as I have said, we do have Dogan the Fight. And um I do have his possible track. Again, it hasn't happened yet, so we're not holding anyone to any of these possibilities that they've talked about, right? If it's a possibility, this is just like their thoughts on what they were going to go. Dogan, surprising me a little bit. I don't know if it'll surprise you or not. The bravery run ones were first for Dogan the fight,
okay.
and then probably Kino's 2 and Canine Endurance.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is surprising for me as well. I
This
mean,
coming
thinking
from
about it, it makes more sense, but it's also like very surprising.
right, like it's surprising because we're used to like we talked about all of the other great things and we highlighted on like hey, frightened is bad, take these if you don't want to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
But then I remember Adam, who is our player for Dogan the Fight, also plays Goron.
Yep.
And I have frightened Goron twice.
He's like, fuck that shit. I low key don't blame him. Like I said, being frightened fucking sucks. It is a condition I try to avoid often.
It is a condition I try to use as often as possible.
Oh, it's so good.
I mean, as both a player and as an MC, like having that level of battlefield control is just strong, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like being able to just say, "You're not getting any closer to me," is strong. You have TD while you can see me is strong. Like
Yeah.
I, I don't know what else to say, right? Like frightened is strong. So having counterplay against frightened, even stronger, right? I do know that in the party you all have Larissa with Drums of the War God and Dog in the Fight, who eventually just cannot be frightened
Mm-hmm.
passively. So you don't need the bonuses, which is great.
Yeah, that'd be really good. That just frees up a slot for if we ever do the big group battles.
Yeah,
Would if Larissa can use it. Yeah, I like that.
yeah, I like it too. Um, but yeah, I love the rogue that like helps his allies and himself with a lot of like you will hit and you will do damage.
Mm-hmm.
I also like I love all of the frontline things. Warm coat is nice on a self-sacrificing caster. I'll give you that. I don't know if there's a lot of features that really make me think, "Oh, I want to play a caster like this.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's definitely more of a reach, and it's definitely like me playing off the big sheepdogs who like have the literal froth from them from playing in the snow. It's like, oh, I want to make a character based off that image, and this is how I would do it.
Right, which is 100% what you'll do, right? But like I find myself thinking like what what lineages actually buff casting, right? And those are the lineages that give you some magic.
Hmm.
Every one of them buff casting to some extent. Okay, which I enjoy and I adore. Um but with that being said, not every lineage has to be, oh, you're gonna buff casting, right? Like not everybody has to be a dragon folk that gives you
Hmm.
affinity fire, or a fire elemental that gives you affinity fire.
Yeah, no, I love that there is like, hey, this is good with this, but I never feel like I'm gonna pick something just because I want to build a certain way. Like I just build what I want to build. It's like it's very freeing in that sense.
100%. Like I I don't play as much as IMC, right? So a lot of what we talk about, um, because I run games, I've talked a bunch of players through it, but I run games. I don't have as much experience building characters as some people do, or being able to play characters. I build characters all the time. That being said, like we've went through all of the base lineages now, right? And we've had long conversations about all different kinds of builds, and this is really strong, but so is this really strong, and so is this really strong, right?
Yeah.
Um, that being said, I'm gonna put you on the spot because I didn't warn you this was happening. Top three lineages.
Ooh. Okay. 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 There is definitely some bias for my top one. It is Satyr. Um, Lesh is my favorite character. He's also, I just love Satyrs are always been super cool to me. I loved Percy Jackson as a kid, and like Grover from Percy Jackson was the coolest character in those books, in my opinion. So like I've always had a love for like the Satyrs in general. Um, oh, you're really doing this to me. This sucks.
I mean,
Um,
I'll do my top three. You said your
yeah.
favorite. I'll do my top three now. All right. So understand this is not from a world building perspective. This is a me playing perspective, right? My number one has to be Trollkin, and that is because I tend to favor more of a in your face, blunt attacker type of character, and Trollkins are just so good at that.
Oh yeah.
Between, you know, stone recovery, rapid regeneration, they have sustainability abilities. They can increase their reach to make things harder to run away, give them more threat range. They're just really good, okay, in that retrospect. After that, I enjoy playing Kleppen. Okay, I
Oh yeah.
enjoy playing things like little capybaras that have a giant shield and will touch you and melt your face off. Right? Um, if anyone's watching this, eventually you'll understand what I'm talking about. Right now, you don't. And then number three for me, and this is a very recent thing, and it is actually a ranged attacker that I built, is elves.
Mhm.
Specifically, wood elves. That bonus to initiative just to go sooner. Everyone's going to want to go sooner in combat unless you have a build that you want to go later, right?
Mhm.
Um, Having that keen shot just twice per day, being able to put a bonus to your hit is super important when you do a lot of hits.
Oh yeah.
Or like if you min max it a little bit like I did, and I'm taking a bunch of negatives to have an increase in my damage. So I took some of the spells to increase my to hit, things like instinctive attack and guide, not guide, it was a different primal spell that gives me TA on attacks.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
Hunter's Quarry. Um, that I got through my lineage stuff. No, Hunter's Quarry I got through somewhere else, but that doesn't matter. But I increase everything else to kind of subtract from my -5 that I'm taking from my +8 damage with Power Shot. Um, I realistically in that situation, that character does an on average shot damage of 36 damage
That's so good.
for the first attack that hits in a round. A lot of rogue.
Oh yeah, I
There's a lot. Yeah. Uh, that headshot is explosive.
I can only imagine.
So yeah, that those three are probably three of my favorites. That being said, I've built characters for all of them because I love them all so much. Right now, number 2, Kobe.
Okay. So I had to go back and forth for a bit on this one, but I think my number 2 is gonna be the Urkow.
Okay.
I first when the Mythcraft first released, the Urkow is what I gravitated towards. I absolutely adore. I mean, I just love bears. I mean, I'm from New Hampshire. There's a lot of bears there. I love them, and I just want to be a big cuddly bear. And I think they have a lot of really fun like the talents between them, between like the Motherland Disciple or Nature's Bounty and stuff like that. Like the it just they bring a really fun character to the thing. Like you can play very like the big mama bear or the big angry bear, and I love those tropes so much.
And they have a
Uh
lot of sustain
oh my god, yeah.
for your melee saves, right?
And I die a lot.
Yeah.
And then I think after that would probably be the Remnant. Uh
Okay.
I it was between the Remnant and probably Kleppen because for very
Right.
different reasons.
Right.
I adore what you can do with the Remnant and building them. I think they are one of my favorite things to like kind of tinker with and like try different ideas with on. I've built a lot of different remnants, truthfully, that are slight variations of certain things and stuff like that, which just I mean it's also a fucking robot. I mean
Mm-hmm.
I love robots. I love sci-fi just as much as I love fantasy, and the idea of like the blend between them is that's my
Oh,
stuff.
I mean, blending is great, right? And there's solid picks, right? I always get stuck when I play a remnant because I want that stupidly high AR that you can achieve at late
Yeah.
levels. Okay, so I end up doing that every time
Mm-hmm.
because I enjoy being in the front. But if I'm in the front with an AR of 12, I'm gonna be dead.
Yeah. That's hard to get around.
Okay, so armored form, taking some um taking some magic for things like mage armor,
mm-hmm.
maybe even fire shield.
Ooh, that's a fun one. I really enjoy Fire Shield.
You know, so like you could really get hard to hit and punishing to hit, but then you also have to make sure you punish them for not hitting you.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're nothing but a wall of hard to hit, you're not that effective.
Yeah.
Because without a way to taunt, which there are some, and you can build for it, you're gonna struggle
Yeah, you're
a
just
lot.
a pillar on the battlefield that'll take a few hits here and there, but you don't get the same aggro pull. And I mean, shit, start blowing shit up, and you're gonna pull even more aggro because you're now a target in the problem.
Right. That's the thing, right? Like, if you're gonna build for high defenses, you have to be able to turn on the offensive as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
If
I'm not
RB
saying
ever hit shit, when he does, we see how much damage it does. But the problem is of me actually trying to hit shit.
hey, it happens, right?
Yeah.
Super strong. I'm not arguing with anything that she said. Those
Mm-hmm.
are three very solid lineages. It is funny that we both have Kleppen as either an honorable mention or a top three.
So good.
Um, right.
Millie is like my favorite PC and NPC at the same time.
At the point that I wrote Millie and like took what you had because Millie originally was your PC in our
Mm-hmm.
home game Cloven Lance campaign. And I took that and I went, I'm gonna tweak it quite a bit, but I'm gonna include her because at that point you had left
Yeah, I had to
Cloven
drop out
Lance.
sadly.
Which I mean, hey, life exists, life goes on. You've came back since then.
Yep, we back now, baby.
Um, but I decided to like pay a little bit of homage to that, and I introduced Millie into the podcast, and now like I think it's two of y'all's favorite NPC.
Yeah, I fucking love Billy to death. God, you touched that child and you're going to hell's man. We are burning whatever town to the ground. You're about to see a villain campaign real quick. Live long enough, die here, or live long enough to see yourself become a villain for real.
Oh Lord, just wait.
The ammo we gave you by falling in love with that damn raccoon.
I love her. But I mean, in the campaign, we've seen me use Kleppens for enemies, for allies, for everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, God, I'm trying to be very careful about things I say. I don't want too many spoilers, but
I feel like I spoil something like anytime I start talking about Tales of Yavard on here, so I just try to like keep it a bare minimum.
saying that there's a character that the party loves that the party adopted, I don't feel like is a spoiler. It's a freaking TTRPG actual play.
True.
Name one that doesn't have a friendly NPC.
Very true. That is so true. We love it. We love adopting NPCs in every session in any table. It's just something about it. You gotta have a little guy.
Yeah, you gotta have friends. Especially in a world as chaotic as Yavard.
Yeah, chaotic to say the least.
I was gonna say spastic, but very few people would get that joke. Other than like the people that know me as spastastic would understand.
Yeah.
It's like it's my world. It is not
Oh, it
grim
fits.
dark. It's not grim dark, but there is some darkness in it.
Yeah.
Because I always feel, and this is storytelling moment with Corey, you never see the full extent of the light if you don't see any shadow.
Real shit right there.
That might be slightly like, oh, if there are plenty of good stories that don't have dark themes. I'm not saying that there's not. I'm saying that to fully enjoy the light, having some shadow is great.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I fully agree.
that being said, you guys have started dipping your toes into the shadier parts of Yavard.
I mean, yeah, Smith is in that deep end without even meaning to be.
You wrote him. That's not even my fault.
Okay, I did, but I didn't realize what world I was writing for. So I was like, cool order fighting demons, and then you turned it to what it was. I was like, oh, yeah, I should have expected that.
I
Damn
mean,
it.
it is still a cool order that
Oh,
fights demons.
oh
Right?
yeah, it is. It's just
It's
I
just
didn't
that
realize demons gonna make shit sad and fucked up because demons are demons, and I'm like, Damn it.
I mean, I don't know necessarily what you were expecting out of that.
I just
Um,
wanted a cool hammer, Spaz.
you have a cool hammer. Like,
I
I
didn't want
don't.
the consequences. I didn't want them.
Too bad. Consequences happen, my friend.
You're ruining my power fantasy. Bad MC.
I'm ruining your power fantasy. As oh, we're not going to talk about that. Understand, all of our wonderful listeners, this is a lie. This is sarcasm
This is the
because
most sarcasm. I'm so happy. I literally get an episode. He fulfilled it for real. In the most recent episode. Oh, it's not out yet. Oh,
yeah,
an
no,
episode coming out of my fantasy was fulfilled for real. For real.
yeah,
Watch, catch up, see it happen.
yeah, no. Um, so next is we walk down the character creation line. Um, we did lineages, which are
Done?
awesome. This is all of the base lineages finally done. Next week, we're gonna start delving into background into the BOP system. I can't guarantee how far we'll get, listeners, but we are going to do some explaining of the background occupation and professions, what it is, how you use it, why it's so good. Because I love it. I love it.
I really BOP system's great.
BOP is amazing, but it's its own video. It has to be.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, you want to give us the shout out for Baron of
Yeah.
Dice?
Yeah. So we are sponsored by Baron of Dice, lovely, wonderful, beautiful wargaming and tabletop RPG dice. They are tested by our friend and fellow player Badger. He uses them for his wargaming, and he absolutely loves them. They are super sick. I am waiting to get myself a set here pretty soon. I'm hate buying myself dice as much as I love buying myself dice, and these are one they're like, all right, my wallet is like screaming for them. So they're super dope, super pretty. I like I said, my wallet is screaming because I don't have them yet and I need them. So go check them out. The link should be in the description below. I think we've been doing good at setting that up the right way. So yeah, go give them a peek. See.
All right. And that is going to be everything that we have time for today. If you want to see how Hondu work in my world, in the world that I built with all of my players, Yavard, check out our actual play podcast, Tales of Yavard. It's also translated into YouTube videos on the channel that you're watching on right now.
Oh, I didn't even know that. I don't think.
Yeah, so it just plays the sound with a static background at the moment.
Oh, cool.
I'm working on some things and
Nice.
on the side to do
Yeah.
do more with that. But for now, yeah, you could just go to YouTube and start watching there.
Yeah, and as we get into the BOP systems, if you guys have any questions or certain parts of that you want us to delve in a little bit deeper, make sure to leave a comment below and we can do our best to cover it next time.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Have a good one.